Hey all, Hipper here. So today I'm checking out the Murmansk again, and I've quite grown to like this ship here. And I'll show you my build here. It's an agile build, and it's the only real agile cruiser at tier 4, and it's quite fun. And just keep in mind, you will not get the same out of this ship if you get the Omaha or the premium Omaha, which I forget what it's called. It has to be the Murmansk here because you're not going to get 93 maneuverability on any of the other versions of the ship. This is the only one. So make sure you take that into account. You will have to cough up the steel to get the agile cruiser at tier 4, unfortunately. So so far so good. And this is like an old stats screen. I played far more battles in it now, but just have a look here. It's really squishy, which is not a problem. It's like I said before, it's kind of like a Minotaur at tier 4. So you don't want to get hit by battleships, but you don't want to get hit by battleships in any case, right? So another nice thing about playing at tier 4 is that you don't get those very, very boring tier 7, tier 8 legendary tier battles where there's 5 or 6 battleships and then maybe 1 cruiser and 2 destroyers or something like that. At tier 4 you usually get half the team cruisers and like 2 battleships and a destroyer or something like that, but it's rare to get more than 3 battleships, which is nice, which is perfect, because that's what the game is supposed to be. That's what it's balanced for, and it is one of the reasons that tier 4 is actually more enjoyable than legendary tier or tier 7, because everybody and their cousin and their dog and their dog's cousin, they play battleships, and battleships just make for extremely boring battles, especially if it's capture the base. It's almost unbearable, really. Of course, it also depends a bit on the map, but Atlantic with 6 battleships on each side in capture the base mode, you might as well be watching paint dry, really. And when I play those battles, I play exactly the same thing, no matter what is on the opposite team. And I usually get removed quickly because all the battleships, they just sit back and wait for cruisers to get spotted. And once you get spotted, you get sunk, and that's fine. Then I'll move on to the next battle. But down here, tier 4, well, it's a lot better. And the lack of, well, not the lack of battleships, but the fair amount of battleships down here make for better gameplay. It's actually very, very simple. So if you notice the torps I sent away right at the beginning when I went into the cap, they bear fruit here. I only get 1 hit, bit of a shame. I should have aimed a little bit more. But Bertrand is just such an annoying ship to Citadel, and I'm having a tough time dealing with him here, and that's really annoying. But if you play tier 7 or legendary tier, you're used to that, and at least there's only 1 ship down here that's a pain like this, and luckily it doesn't have the DPM output that of like Cleveland or Worcester or something like that, where you can also just like be pumping shells in and nothing happening. So anyway, the Bertrand, he gets sunk, and we have pretty much won the cap here. And that's another thing. The shorter range of the battleships down here, it makes it more fun to be a cruiser, because battleships that sit back, they tend to completely take themselves out of the game here because they don't have the range that they do, or at least most of them, or some of them, whatever. Don't have the range they do up at the higher tiers. So you get spotted later in these cruisers here, and the range of the battleships isn't exactly the same. So you see how they're all just sitting out there waiting, and I'm not sure they're waiting for me or what they're waiting for, but I don't care. I have the cap, so I can wait all day, as Homer Simpson would say. Except, as usual, I'm getting bored, and I need something to happen. I'm just going to sit here in a staring contest with these guys here. So just going to take out the Rattlehead here. So the best thing I find in these, well, in any battles really, is go for the ship that's the furthest on a flank, and then just work your way in, really. And that's what I'm doing here. The Bertrand was all the way out, and then the Rattlehead, now the Furataka. And that way you're kind of, limiting the movement of the red team, and you don't want to get flanked, right? So it makes sense to start with the ships out there, but it all depends. It's just like a rough guideline. And again, look how I can just totally outturn that guy. He shot at me from 7 kilometers away, and I can still outturn him. Yep, that's why it is just a lot of fun down here at tier 4 in a 2.8 second cruiser, rudder cruiser 2.8 second. So I thought this guy here was trying to set up some sort of torp run on me. I think these guys are working a little bit together here, trying to take me out of the game, because I was wondering what they were just sitting there waiting for. But anyway, he made a mistake. I wasn't as stupid as he thought, so now he's getting the nasty end of the AP shells, and he will probably sink soon. So anyway, the Murmansk is available for just under 7,000 steel, and you know, like I said in my first video on this ship, I was thinking long and hard about this because I hate the Omaha. I just think it's a terrible ship. Well, it's not a terrible ship, but it's not my kind of ship. But I did look at the rudder on this thing here, and when I did my calculations, I could see, okay, I can get this thing below 3 seconds. But is it worth, 7,000 steel, which is in, short supply, and there's actually quite a few things to use steel for these days. So it's a big investment. I don't see this ship often. I don't think many people have it, and it makes sense. There's a lot of different Omahas out there, but like I said, this one is special. It's different, and if you like agile cruisers, this is the one to pick. But like I said, it does come at a price. So look at this Furataka here. Like, he's just been sitting there, angled the whole time, only angled towards me, and no one else is, the wiser. Whatever. But anyway, this is tier 4, so we can't really complain about stuff like that. I mean, he's playing his ship to its strengths, and that makes sense. He probably thinks I'm the nastiest on his or the red team for him, and that's probably true. So it does make sense, but it does make for pretty boring gameplay. Anyway, I don't know why that was 3 overpens, but okay, fine. Remove him with the next salvo. Now, Omaha is not a pretty ship. It's actually one of the worst looking ships in the game, I think. It just looks so World War I with the 4 chimneys and, the casemate mounted guns, and like just the whole thing screams old, really. But if you can just, ignore that, and I will say I had a hard time with that in the beginning. That's also one of the reasons I didn't want to buy this ship, because I thought it was like, well, it's pretty disgusting looking, really. It's just ugly. So someone took my Furataka there. That was my Kraken, but fine, whatever. Have it your way. So anyway, we've well and truly won the B-side here. And I now have the choice between a Königsberg, and then in a minute a carrier will pop up. And of course, that's a tough choice, because the Königsberg is the threat here, right? He's going for the cap, but on the other hand, we are ahead by 500 points. So in the end, I decide, I might as well just go for the carrier. But yeah, I'll probably play 30 something battles in Murmansk now. I know I only showed 7 in the beginning, but that's the video I just had at the moment. It's the same build, and I'm still enjoying it. So I think I can get a few 100 battles out of the ship here before it starts to be a little boring, because the players at tier 4 are generally not too well versed in the game. They're not bad at it. I actually think in general the gameplay down here is better than at legendary tier and tier 7. But there's not so much utility. I mean, I have a sonar, and that's about it. There's no radars, there's no, at least for this ship here, no smoke or anything like that, which kind of limits your creativity. But other than that, it's a good ship, and I enjoy playing it. And like I said, at least I can see myself playing this for 500 battles. So is that worth 7,000 steel? I think so. I think it's already worth it now anyway. At least I can tell you guys that there is an agile cruiser at tier 4. If you're willing to pay for it, you can get it. And just want to mention, I actually had to pay for the ship myself. I didn't get it as a CC. Very unfair. No, I'm just kidding. So now we got a carrier cornered, and just switching to HE, and then we're just gonna farm this guy for now, the last minute or so. So we'll get our high caliber and Confederate out of this game here. Like I said, the Furataka, he would have been my Kraken, the naughty boy, if not, someone else would have taken him. But such is life. Nothing you can do about that. But like I said, worth the steal. I think so. Certainly a lot more worth it than the Missouri, in my opinion. I don't have the Missouri, but I played it on someone else's account, and I was like, yeah, that's just a battleship. It may have radar, yes, but so does Constellation these days, so there's really nothing special about Missouri anymore. And I don't think it's worth the steel price. I think Murmansk is worth it, just. I think maybe this ship should be 5,000 steel, perhaps, because it is a tier 4, but okay, I'll let it slide. So we'll see. Maybe there's a discount on the ship someday, and then I will kick myself for spending 7,000 on it. But, you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, that's the end of the battle. And as you'll see in the XP here, you know, the red team did okay. Like, of course, the XP is lower down here, so like a good game is less XP. But I see players at legendary tier with the same or lower XP than this red team here, which is just terrible. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See you out there.